This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Pierre Novelli. Text the show on 81215. Follow us on X and Instagram at Frank on the Radio. Email via frank@absoluteradio.co.uk. I wanted to make it sound like one of those 1950s thriller radio serials.
Sort of building to a terrible crescendo.
Like Paul Temple or something, yeah.
I thought it sounded more like the Grand National.
Oh, okay. Ross Noble, just coming up on the outside. He will be our guest at 10 a.m.
Yay!
this morning. And if you've got a question for Ross Noble, like who are you?
That's no way to start.
No, just in case you don't know. But if you want to ask Ross anything, send in a question, and you might get your question on the QL. The question list, in case you're wondering.
Oh, I'm not going to let that go. What's the QL?
That's it, the question list.
Have you just made that up?
Well, no. I said question list and then I abbreviated it. We don't want to be saying question list all morning.
God forbid.
It's not that easy to say. I'll be straight with you. I don't know if either of you have ever tried it. But all right, I'll do my best. Captain Bring Down. So, I went for a haircut. I need to tell you this. You know, I go to the Turkish barbers, they who ignite my ear hair.
Yeah, I know them.
And I hadn't been since Edinburgh. I had a haircut in Edinburgh, if you remember, where I was celebrated for being a very well-known magician, and I just went with it. So regular readers may know that I have a serious getting lost issues. I've got no sense of direction. Even within this building, I've gone the wrong way.
I fear for you every time you go to the latrines.
No, exactly. And sometimes I go downstairs, and that's one of the. They have men or women, it says on the signs, I think, but they have pink ones and blue ones, and I'm very confused when it's blue and it says men or women, and I think, why is it blue then? Anyway, they should all be purple. Anyway, so I couldn't find. I hadn't been for about 3 months because of being away in Edinburgh. I couldn't find the Turkish barbers, and I thought this is a real senior moment because it's in this road, and I was walking up and down the road. People were looking at me.
Did you think for a moment it was one of those sort of tales of the unexpected kind of, and it was never there?
Yeah,
no
exactly.
one remembered where the haunted barbers
What
was.
do you mean the Turkish barbers that burned down in the 50s and everyone was killed? Yeah. No, well, what happened was I realised that while I was away, it had become a restaurant. Oh. Not even a Turkish restaurant. So it's gone.
Frank, what are you going to do?
I know. I'd been going there for about 6 years, and I'd only just reached the stage where we'd have a mid-cut chat. I'd only just reached that point.
Did they not reach out to you and say, we've got some sad news, it's with a heavy heart?
No, they didn't do any of that. But looking back at it, those mid-cut chats were often about business being really bad. So maybe
the signs were there.
But it was, I really liked it. I liked the guys. There was a good level of tip gratitude.
Oh.
What
And
you mean they didn't expect much?
Well, they were pleased, genuinely pleased when I gave them a tip. But now I realise why.
So we're going to have to find you a new Turkish barbers.
Well, I'll tell you what happened. There's another barber in the same road that I went to once, and the man said, I'm sorry, but we only cut hair by appointment. Well, not to the Queen, just appointment. And that's no good to me.
No.
I don't know how it is with I don't think you could do this. I don't think you would work at a lady's hairdresser's. But for you, Pierre, I never know when I'm going to suddenly want a haircut.
Haircuts strike me like lightning.
That is it with me. I have
unexpected
you know, this is like a first date. I like Kung Fu
honestly
too.
This has happened to me a few times. I've gone for a haircut and I've been sitting at home and I've stood up before I realised I wanted a haircut. My body had thought, haircut! So the idea of thinking, I would really like a haircut in the future, Have you seen when the alien ship lands in Close Encounters and all these people suddenly head
Yes.
out to it just halfway through a meal? That's how I am with the haircut. So the appointment, I hated just...
They might as well say, you're not allowed a haircut.
They might as well say, would you like... do you think you'll fancy a dime bar next Thursday at 2:15? Either spelling, they might say to me.
Do you know how far in advance I have to book?
No, I'd like to know. And tell us after this, please.
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
In terms of your haircut dilemma, and we're discussing how we have, as men, we have haircuts on a sort of whimsical basis. I was going to have a whimsical haircut this very day after the show. I sort of thought, like you say, the thought strikes you the way it strikes a bird that it's time to migrate. You sort of, something in you just says, hey, you should probably have a haircut now.
I don't want to think about it too much or I might back out.
Yeah.
I mean...
It's like laying an egg or something.
Yeah, it's a bit... I was thinking of something similar to that. If you don't do it straight away, it retracts.
Oh, my God. Do you know
Tell us how long you have to wait for a hair appointment, Emily Dean.
Well, gather round the fireside. Get comfy.
I'm trying to do a crackling. We don't have the...
I choose to book online now, but I do have an emergency contact number.
For a haircut?
Yeah.
Okay.
Should I absolutely desperately need an appointment?
Is it a butcher's?
Oh, God. This is for George Northwood. I'm not being paid to say this. I pay for my haircuts, but just FYI.
It's okay.
Yeah. But he did the Alexa. Remember her? Alexa Chung, the Alexa.
Oh, I thought you meant Alexa as in, Alexa, will you cut my hair?
Apologies to everyone at home, by the way, whose Alexa will be going off.
To hell with them, I don't have one. Not only that, but... Charlie, come on, Charlie. Just trying to get their dog going as well. Imagine having a dog called Alexa. That would be...
Why are the assistants always women? I'm just saying.
Why are the assistants always women?
Alexa.
I know.
You know.
I spent years trying to stop barking domestic demands at females, and I had to really work at it. And now they're asking me to do it. No, please, no, thank you.
Now Silicon Valley.
Yeah, exactly. It's dragged me back to my bad old ways. Alexa, do it.
I would
Alexa, football's coming on.
Yeah.
I would like it if it was called...
it isn't. It is. It definitely is. It is.
It'd be nice if it was called Jeeves and had a sort of smarmy tone.
Yeah, it would.
A little robot.
Can you get a man one like you can? On sat-navs you can have.
Well, you can get the Siri man, can't you?
Is there Oh no, I don't like the Siri man.
There's a Siri Australian man as well.
Oh, no, I don't like Siri generally. I find he's a bit of an interrupter.
Okay.
Aussie Siri.
Yeah, Aussie Siri. I cannot help you with that. No. So the hair, Frank.
Yes.
So I have an emergency appointment in case I need an emergency appointment. Emergency phone number. But what I generally do, if I'm going on book, as it were, by the book, I'll go online. There's a series of profile pictures of the various stylists and a biog about them, should I wish to select them.
Oh,
right.
So you get to see who you're having and you get to read about them.
How deep into their backstories do you like to go?
Well, there's a lot of info.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who their hair they've cut, where they've trained.
For how long?
Okay, I'm getting to that. So, I need to book cut and colour and blow dry and a gloss. There's about 6 or 7 processes to go through.
But all done by the same person, aren't
No.
they? Oh, it's
By
a
5
bit like a
different people.
pit stop. Are they all working on you at the same time like that? Come on, hurry up, I've got another lap.
I would say, to safely get in with my top 5, I would like to book at least 3 weeks in advance, possibly sometimes a month.
Gosh.
Yeah, I mean, I have days when I wake up and think my hair looks great. What about if it's that day I've bought the haircut? Have you ever sat and looked in the mirror just before they cut it and thought, no, it looks great, it looks great. Oh!
Well, sometimes halfway through.
Oh, but anyway, more on this. This gets it gets worse.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Do you want... Sorry, I was just
No.
going to share some barber-related correspondence.
No, go
from
on,
our readers.
share.
This is from 813. Andy Wood, one of our regulars, as you know.
Do you know Andy Wood?
No, but thanks for the tip.
Okay.
You're getting it. My barbershop has an appointment app where you see the name of each barber and available slots. You get alerts if anyone cancels an encutment.
Encutment.
He's gone encutment, and I'm leaving it there.
I quite
Okay.
like it.
Most worrying is when they offer a discount half-price haircut with a trainee barber.
Oh, I'd do that. How much damage could you do to my hair?
That's true. Usually, you've actually got lovely hair, Frank. Usually, this trainee is called Cal or Jezza.
Okay.
Who would actually take a gamble like this?
Well, there you go,
we
already
found our
answered.
man.
Asked
Yeah.
and answered.
If you're listening, Cal. Anyway, so I said, I walked in and I said, you have to have an appointment here, don't you? He said, not if you have it cut immediately. And I said, well, that was my plan. So the bloke started cutting my hair, and it says like wash and haircut. There's no wash, he just went straight into the... He said, what do you want? And I said, sort of early 20th century East European novelist. So it means I don't just like hair, I like flesh and hair combo.
Yeah.
It's like I like a fierce short back and sides. The Turkish barbers would always say, no, you wouldn't like that. Let us blend it. And I said, no, I want a really hard line between skin and hair. And they go, no, honestly, you won't like that. And they used to talk me out of it. This guy, I realised, did have an appointment in 10 minutes' time. So he cut it. We still got a conversation in. We talked about table tennis. And I explained that I played penholder grip, and he said, oh, well, the new bat's coming out now, which really helped the wide backhand. So that was good news. Anyway.
And other things I've never discussed with my hairdresser.
Yeah, exactly.
Or any member of the team.
Yeah.
And then he said to me, is he in the Olympics? Is he in the Olympics?
I
think so.
Your hairdresser?
Not hairdressing.
I wish there was.
Hairdressing will be next. Cricket's in the next
That'd
one.
be great.
Yeah, there should be
Squash.
hairdressing. Fake tanning should be Olympics.
Poetry used to be in the Olympics. Do you know that?
Yeah. And
It really
painting.
did.
Really?
And painting.
Yeah. Poetry, I think it stopped in London 48 when it was won by somebody. You had to write about sport, a poem about sport. And a woman wrote a poem about fencing called Sword Song. Anyway, so I got this haircut, and then it's pretty. What do you think? It's sort of
good.
extreme-ish. And then I went on the One Show that night.
Was this when you were talking with Claire Balding?
Claire Balding.
Yes, that when you went viral.
And I still had the worst haircut on the sofa.
How dare you?
And
I love her hair.
I love Claire Balding, full stop.
Yeah.
But
You
my
went viral.
publicist come to me, so there's a lot of stuff on social media about your hairstyle. And I thought, is there anyone in the world who would think, oh, I wonder if that would be positive?
Did you say, oh, that's good?
Yeah,
What are they saying?
Did they like it? No, not really. So I'm not allowed on social media by Elon Musk because I'm not. I don't know how to get on most of them, and I used to. What do they call it? Stalk Twitter or something.
Lurk, darling.
Lurk. I used to lurk. But Elon stopped that. You have to be signed up to go searching. So I don't know what was said, but let's put it this way. I've been doing some gigs this week, and my tour manager was having breakfast in a hotel in Birmingham, and he saw Lenny Henry, and he was very excited. So we went over and said hello, And he said, I'm on tour with Frank Skinner at the moment. He said, oh, well, give him my love and tell him he's got a terrible haircut.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Frank, Ruth Jordan has reached out to us.
Of course.
Of course.
When did she last
Yes,
not contact the show, I wonder?
Okay.
We'll be worried if she doesn't contact the show one week. I'll be phoning the neighbours to see how many pints of milk outside her house.
Ruth Jordan.
That's not a very good check anymore, is it? Because
No.
the milkman doesn't really exist. I know someone will say, well, actually, there's one in my... But they're generally...
Someone will say, I am a milkman. All
Yeah.
right, Spartacus, pipe down.
Yeah.
Would Frank say that the comments about this haircut are better or worse than the comments he had about his post-lockdown hair that time he was on the Graham Norton show? That
Well,
question for Frank Skinner.
I was too frightened to look at the comments then because I'd heard they were quite fierce. And also that was slightly different because my hair had been cut by what was then my 8-year-old child, whereas I'd just been paid 25 quid plus tip for this. But from a man who said, and by the way, will you apologise to David Baddiel because the last time he was here I started shaving his beard off just as a joke.
You're kidding.
Yeah, and then he said, and then he wrote about me in an article or something like that. Anyway, so I suspect they were worse the first time, but I don't know, I'm guessing. That was a worse haircut, surely.
I'm still struggling to move on from the curious tale of David Baddiel, the shaved beard, and the article.
Well, he said, pass it on to him. I'm sorry, it was just a joke.
This barber doesn't seem to me to be a natural diplomat.
Well, I don't know.
Also, if there's one
fellow.
breed of person I don't particularly want having a sense of humour, it's a hairdresser.
It's a hairdresser.
Oh, really?
Well, I just want you to do your job. I don't want you playing practical jokes on me.
You don't want to have a hairdresser who's also a noted prankster.
Steve Pegg doing
Yeah, well, maybe this was just a joke after looking back.
Maybe.
I like it, you know.
We've got a text in
We should-
just now that's definitely for me. 211 just texts in full capital letters, Holy Roman Empire. And to you, sir,
Yeah.
that's it. Just Holy Roman Empire.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah.
Okay, I should say that Pierre, even though England are playing South Africa twice today,
Yeah.
cricket and rugby, Pierre has come in a South African shirt.
Yes, I have.
We don't really come across this sort of thing.
It's very rare. It takes the Rugby World Cup for me to bother.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I don't care if they beat them in the Rugby World Cup, but if they beat them in the cricket,
No,
fired.
I find that all the sports tribalism of all the football fans I know disappears when it comes to rugby, international or otherwise.
Yeah, well, I struggle with rugby, as you know. I'm sure it's lovely.
Frank, Darren Cook has been in touch.
It's like something that a kind grandmother would say about rugby. Well, I'm sure it's lovely.
Slightly unkind grandmother. I like that. Frank, Darren Cook has been in touch.
Oh, yeah?
Question for Frank. Did he enjoy the band doing a swing version of the song Sex Bomb on last week's Strictly Come Dancing?
Well, funnily enough, my partner said, I can't believe there are children watching this. I can't believe they're doing this song. With the guy going, sex bomb, you're my sex bomb. He was doing all that stuff.
Baby, you can turn me on.
Yeah, it's real Sinatra. Baby, you can turn me on. Yeah. And it was. It had the words. The thing is, every time sex was said, I was sitting next to my 11-year-old, and when sex was mentioned, I'd go, which he loved. He loved. It is the only response to that word until you're about 58, in my opinion. Yeah. And I'm sticking with it. Who cares?
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Do you know I was on a GCSE mock paper, an extract from my autobiography, and it says things like, how does Frank Skinner create mood in this piece and stuff like that.
Really?
Yeah. It's about me when I was a kid and I used to get to the top of the garden and just scream at the top of my voice at night. Yeah. Now I've got this show. Yes.
I would like to take us back a bit.
Do you remember when we did dad jokes on this show? We got people to send in their dad jokes, and one guy sent in and said, not only did my dad do this joke over and over, but I've inherited it now.
Yeah.
And it was, you just reminded me of it. He said every time my dad got in the car with us, whenever he put it in reverse, he'd say, this takes me back. And now this guy does it.
There's something vampiric about jokes like that.
I love it. It's the repetition I love of those jokes. Because I've got a few. Like if Kath's very touchy about food, and if she says this is really oily, I always say, it's only 1:45, regardless of what time of the day it is. But it makes me so happy. Anyway, carry on.
You've also got a lot of prop work that you do regularly.
Yeah.
So twice, maybe 3 times I've been on a walk with you, and you've suddenly produced a pipe.
Yes, it's good. I wouldn't smoke a pipe. I've tried smoking a pipe and I vomited most viciously.
But you produced it in order, because you had a punchline in mind.
Well, men my age all smoked pipes when I was a kid, but it's gone now. Anyway.
Anyway, I would like to take us back to some correspondence we received during the week. And we do like getting your correspondence at any time. Sorry to go points of view, but I want to encourage our readers to contact us. And I'd like to share some of this with you, Frank. We were discussing last week, if you may recall, the sort of generic advertising. Do you want to give us an example?
Yes, I was talking about adverts like Cheese Please Louise, which was an advert for cheese, not for any specific brand of cheese, but just the general concept of the abstract of cheese.
Things like, do you remember beef?
Yeah.
Yes.
And there was one, a pint per person per day, which was an advert for milk.
And there was a thing called the Milk Marketing Board.
Yeah, so it's things that you wouldn't think need advertising was the general idea.
And Ben in Christchurch in New Zealand has been in touch. Dear Frank and team, on the subject of generic advertising, in 1980s Hungary under communism, there were giant billboards across Budapest with nothing on them but this sage advice. Need shoes? Go to the shoe shop.
That's fantastic.
I mean, it comes across in a way incredibly rudely. You need shoes? Go to the shoe shop then.
Yeah, you know where you want to go. But the shoe shop there wasn't a company called the Shoe Shop.
I don't believe.
No, there was just a
because
shoe.
none of this is in caps.
Put
was
on
all,
government shoes.
Yeah.
Is it in toe caps?
Go to. Oh God!
Sorry, everyone.
Oh, dad jokes.
Yeah, exactly. Takes me back.
This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Whimsical, The Guardian. This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Pierre Novelli. You can text the show on 81215. Follow us on X and Instagram at Frank on the Radio. Email via frank@absoluteradio.co.uk. And I say again, Ross Noble will be our guest at 10 a.m. If you want to send in a question for Ross, we've got our own, but yours might be better.
Yeah.
Send in a question, and we'll ask some of those when he arriveth.
Can one chase the stationery? The sort of thing you say when you go to Ryman's.
Yeah, well, I do chase it there. Oh man, I like a Ryman's.
Regarding the generic adverts.
Oh, yes.
For concepts such as milk or shoes.
Yeah.
Well, we've got one about milk from Rob in sunny Bedford.
One we didn't cover last week. Last week we did a pint per person per day.
Pint of milk a day.
Yeah, pint of milk a day. And watch out, there's a Humphrey about.
Yeah, some sort of milk demon.
Was the concept that milk was such a prized asset that there would be
like I said,
dedicated milk thieves?
On my Charles Atlas course, we had Milk Week. So you always
Of
say.
course, yes,
Yeah.
milk week.
When you talk about your Charles Atlas course, I feel such love for you.
Oh, thank you.
I can't help it.
Milk Week sounds like something from Celebrity SAS or whatever. It's Milk Week's coming
Well, like
up and
I
the
say,
gang are afraid.
I know you don't watch Strictly, but it would be a terrible, terrible edition of Strictly when everyone danced to milk themes.
Yes.
That
And people
would be-
saying, oh, part of my dance was inspired by my lactose intolerance. And
Like Frank Sinatra. Frank Sinatra, that's
Frank
me.
Sinatra.
That is your tribute act.
That's my tour. It's there. I'm touring. Yeah.
Well,
Gone.
Rob and
Yes.
Sunny Bedford, Re-Milk and,
Yeah,
and
Re-Milk.
Pinter. Hi, Frank and team.
Pinter, sorry, it's so sensitive.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. I'm writing, following on your chat about milk advertising. Our builders recently found a lot of old newspapers when they knocked down a wall during some old renovations.
Was it the wall of that old lady who's a hoarder who lives up the road? No, sorry,
It
Karen.
wasn't supposed to be a wall, but she built it. This is a sort of archaeology now,
Yeah.
in a way. There's one paper, the People newspaper,
Oh, I remember it.
from 1967,
Okay.
that has this fantastic advert for milk. And it is a picture of a nice lady with a sort of eccentric hat on, holding a glass of milk,
Yeah.
brackets general,
Yeah.
and looking sort of cheekily at the viewer. And she's referred to, the caption is, Pinter Girl is popular.
Oh.
Pinter Girl is her sort of superhero name, I guess.
Okay.
And the caption explains, who is Pinter Girl? Because they know that that's the first thing that we'd think.
Yeah, exactly.
It looks like Pinter Girl.
It does
Is
look
she
like Pinter
starring in
Girl.
the Harold Pinter play?
Yes. Who is Pinter Girl?
Whimsical.
Yeah.
The Guardian.
What's
Go
so
on.
special about her? That's the secondary inquiry.
Oh, okay. It's a bit
She's pretty.
aggressive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's pretty.
Okay.
But that can't be all. And it's not. There's some suspense there. This is a girl, and it could just as well be you.
Quite a wordy ad.
Yeah, there's a long
It's
old
not
caption.
really a catchy slogan.
They haven't
Goes
quite
to
gone.
work on an egg.
Yes, haven't quite gone full Mad Men snappiness with this
No,
one.
this
have
was
they?
when Henry James went into the advertising business.
Yeah, turnover for the rest of the ad. It's,
Come on, what do they say? It could well
this
be
is
you.
a girl, and it could just as well be you, me, who drinks at least a pint of milk every day of her life. My italics.
Yeah.
She likes it. Full stop.
Oh, no.
Well, that makes
She
sense.
likes it,
Yeah.
and the milk likes her. Ugh.
Apart from the layer of calcium it's left around her heart.
Yeah, yes.
Like
Apart
she
from that.
likes it, diddly diddly.
Yeah, and milk likes her and makes her feel so good that she can't help being nice. I've never heard
Wow.
that about milk.
I've never heard that about ladies.
I might get Cass a pint. I tell you, we honestly thought milk was
Yeah.
the healthiest thing on the planet.
What's the
I-
final line to this then?
Well, if you're nice, people like you. And that's the story of why Pinter Girl is popular.
Yeah. Is that true, though?
Nah.
If you're nice, people like you.
I think that it's only a bit true. And I
when
don't.
people say it's a bit too nice.
Yeah, must be all that milk.
Yeah, exactly.
If you can help them, people like
I mean,
you.
babies often aren't that nice, and they live on milk.
Absolute narcissist.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
There is a mysterious queue outside the studio. I mean,
Yes.
quite a big queue. The average age, what do we think, 15, 16?
Young.
Yes, young. And we don't know what it's for. We'll put a picture up of them, see if you might know. No, that's our Kerry. She's queuing up.
Yeah.
For
They
the,
might get in trouble.
Oh, they might get
They
in
might have
trouble.
told lies about where they
it's
are.
not my. It's not my problem.
Maybe there's a new
Be
type of,
honest to your family.
there's a new type of fortnight themed crisp or something.
Oh, there could be. Yeah. Well, we've just sent Jenny out for snacks, our assistant producer, and she's getting me tacky. So if 16-year-olds see someone with tacky, she'll be torn apart.
Yeah.
Like when a tropical bird escapes and getting the sparrows and the blackbirds and stuff resent its its unusual nature.
You're not getting
and kill
those
it.
tackies again, are you?
Oh God, yes.
After my incident, I had an accident
Don't
at work.
have one.
I called one of those lawyers, had an accident at work. Yes, I did. Chilies in my eye.
Yeah, that would be great if they'd had that on there on the advert, for example. What, lawyers for you or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
But just a silhouette of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I sued my boss.
turkeys in my eye.
In case you didn't listen last week, I was
disguised voice.
eating the very hot snack Takis in the studio.
Who aren't paying us. In fact, I think I said I went as far as to say I loathed them.
No, I know. If people think they're paying them, it's a rough old advert, because I like everyone else thinks they're vile. But Emily had one and then rubbed her eye, and it, like I say, it's got a super hot dust on it, and she wept like a child.
I saw a viral video of someone giving it a toddler eating. Someone giving it to a toddler.
No, I wouldn't give it to.
No.
I gave the dog some, like the bag. The dog likes a crisp bag to explore after you finish the crisps, just to get the last bits out.
Oh.
But the Takis, she drew the line up.
Oh, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I would like to move us on to Louisa in
I don't know
North.
if that was my best ever anecdote. Anyway,
I was just trying to picture the reaction of the dog plunging its face into a bag of spice dust.
well, my dad, we had chickens all the time when I was a kid, and if they occasionally they start eating their own eggs, the chicken. I mean, they wait for them to come out.
they?
Yeah, they come out first, and so what you have to do, my dad being like growing up in the country in County Durham, he got an egg and he blew it. You know, you put a hole in each side and blow the contents out, and then he filled it with English mustard and put it back in their cage and took the water out of their shed. And there was one just suddenly running up and down with its mouth open, and we knew it had eaten the mustard egg. And so then he identified which chicken it was.
Oh. Is that a
Tell you
phrase?
something that fell off the bone.
It and it tasted of mustard. It had a
Yeah,
sort
it
of
had the mustard already in it.
internal marinade.
Absolutely perfect.
I mean, I think it could be described as ingenious but very cruel.
We didn't know then. I'm not suggesting anyone does it at home. I don't know if anyone listens who's got chickens. It
didn't know-
lives in a council house.
I didn't know chickens could taste mustard.
Did you need a
Yeah.
license to keep chickens?
No, well, maybe. We needed a licence for a television, someone was telling me. I put it just down to tittle tattle. I was in the one show dressing room and they put a bowl of chocolate and snacks for you to eat.
Oh.
So I just scooped it up and took it home. I thought I had the licence payer's money. Just flashing in my mind, these are mine. I've paid for these.
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
I don't want this to get into descend, I should say, into a text in about cruel things along the lines of what your dad did to the chickens.
Yeah, okay.
But just en passant, Lulu Popplewell has been in touch just to add, my mum used to put chili powder on the flowers and veg patch.
Oh,
and I think that
see.
was to stop the squirrels getting at them.
Oh,
Okay?
clever.
Well, clever
And cruel.
Okay.
No, look, we do not. We love animals on this show. We've also made a discovery. Why are those kids queuing outside?
In case anyone missed it, we have a large queue, don't we?
A large queue
There's a
of
bunch of darn kids on our lawn.
15 or 16-year-olds in the rain, in the pouring rain. Some of them have got umbrellas. I didn't know that sort of the current generation would take on an umbrella. It seems a bit of an old-fashioned thing to.
It seems a bit Father and Mary Poppins
Yeah,
for these
some-
youngsters.
Some hooded youth flourishing a gamp.
We had our guesses. I thought maybe the Styles lad was en route.
Yeah, well, you always think that when you see young people, but they don't look like those kind of. They look a bit sort of more urban.
I saw one of them flourishing a vinyl sort of, what would you call it, sleeve.
Okay.
So I thought it's definitely music based.
Yes. And then, anyway, we've discovered. Who is it?
Tyler the Creator.
Tyler the Creator.
But it's not music. He is a musician. but
Oh, he's not a Tyler.
Who is Tyler?
Who is Tyler? He's a creator. He's
Well,
a-
yeah,
he's a-
but that
he's a-
sounds like you don't know what it
He's not a
actually is.
musician.
He's a rapper.
He's
a
a
rapper.
rapper, a musician.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah.
I would say so. He's
Why is he the creator?
that's just his name.
Yeah, but Frank will have something to say about that. There's only one creator in Frank's world.
I saw.
Can't steal God's name.
Tyler the Alpha and the Omega.
I saw Mary J. Blige do a thing years ago on some American show, and she came on and started. You know, she had an incredible voice, and she came on and sang. And then a rapper came on who I didn't know, but it was still rapper, and he just was really hitting the mainstream. And he came on and started rapping, and she looked at him a bit strange. I thought, she's going to go, "What are you doing? What are you doing? You're not singing."
You're just talking
Yeah.
really quickly.
Yeah. What are you playing at? You're going to get us thrown out? Come on, man.
Why are you speaking like that?
Oh, Mary J. Blige. Upon, of course, on Much Obliged, her name. Did you know that?
Is it?
Because of her gratitude to her fans and supporters.
Oh, yeah.
It's not true, Pierre.
I've
You
decided
actually
it is.
believed it, Frank.
No, it's not
I'm
true.
happy with that.
The idea there'd be a major sort of
Mary J.
R&B singer whose
Mary J.
name was a pun on Much Obliged. I think the pensioners in the Smethwick used to say to the bus driver when they got off.
Did they?
As well as thank you, driver, obviously.
gonna
I'll
say,
tell you who
Much
else
Obliged
was a
is a bit
fan
formal.
of Much Obliged. Was do you remember Frank Derek Acora? These we have loved.
Did he say Much Obliged?
He used to say to the spirit world. He would occasionally when he would contact the spirit world. He'd go, "Thank you, we are very much obliged."
I think you'll find...
Really?
You call it the spirit world, but I think you'll find it was the world of spirits.
Well, the spirits.
Which always sounded like an enormous off licence.
World of
Jay.
spirits. It's because you can't say "cheers, lad" to a ghost.
No.
And he's there, of course. He's entered the world of spirits.
Do you think
himself.
these youths will be saying thank you, Tyler, when they leave? Apparently he's launching a new clothes line. Not a clothes line, obviously. a line. How do you say it, Emily? You're in fashion.
Can you clothesline?
Yeah.
Is it a clothes line?
Range line? It's
Clothes
fine,
line,
yeah.
pegs, the whole thing.
It's a new range.
Prop, a nice prop.
A new range. Cookers.
Yeah, but he's launching, so they're all queuing up to see Tyler the Creator, and they look absolutely. I mean, queuing in the rain. He must be one hell of a guy.
He's a creator.
Frank Skinner.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Frank, Ross Noble's in the building.
Oh yeah, have we had lots of questions in from our readers?
Yeah, we have.
Okay,
Okay.
were they your response seemed like they were a bit rubbish?
No,
Okay.
but I'm going to save them for when our guest arrives.
No, of course I don't want to hear them now.
Okay.
Then we'll start answering them spontaneously.
Yeah. Now listen, we've heard from Louisa in North Somerset.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember we were talking about?
I remember when counties was just one word. They're all north this and west that.
The modern
They've all
wa-
been divided up.
the modern
Honestly.
ways. Louisa in North Somerset. This is in reference to the sort of generic advertising. Buy milk.
Yeah.
What was the one we heard about this morning already in Hungary, which was.
Yeah, and there was pint to go.
And there was need shoes, go to the shoe shop
Yes.
in Budapest.
Good
Great
advice.
Morning, Frank, Emily, Pierre, and all the team, says Louisa. After the mention of the sinister pork man, who Pierre referred to last week,
Yes.
Oh, I remember that. That was a man who prepared pork for his family. He was slicing pork and talking about how pork was an
What
important
did he say?
thing.
He was muttering about how much there was. Everybody's got plenty. My wife's got what it takes. That's one of the things he said.
And again, it was
Glowering.
just for pork, the general.
Yeah.
The general.
it's a glowering 70s dad. That's what dads did in the 70s.
In a room that seemed unlit
Yes.
while everyone was having a full Sunday roast.
It did look that they were there against their will, the other people.
It did look like
Yeah.
a sort of Iranian embassy siege style SWAT team would smash through the windows
Yeah.
and take the pork man down.
Exactly.
We didn't understand lighting concepts back then. There was one overhead light, and you were
Imagine
done.
if you confronted the pork man with pulled pork. Like a new move in the pork world. In the world of pork.
Anyway, Louisa continues. after the mention of the sinister Porkman, does anyone remember the frankly terrifying public information advert promoting water safety? It had a truly sinister voice saying something like, "I am the spirit of dark and lonely water." And the water itself looked like something out of a horror film. It scared the hell out of me as a young child. Long-time reader, occasional emailer. So this is an ad, it's not for water. It's sort of an ad against water.
When I was a child, there was a guy... What?
This ad brought to you by the Dangerous Water Association.
This ad brought to you by WeHateWater.com.
There was a whole lot when I was a child of television-based warnings.
Yeah.
So there was things like there was obvious ones like don't leave the gas on.
Yeah.
But then there was like really obscure ones like wear something white at night.
And for some reason, pylons were a huge issue there.
Oh, yeah. But I think people did it, but no one ever. The idea of where, there were still lampposts in those days.
Yeah.
A white raincoat or a hat is swell. A shopping bag will do as well. Just use your ingenuity and wear a garment we can see.
Filthy creeps.
There's a bit where it went, it doesn't matter to us as long as you're conspicuous. It was very fine.
This is the ads you need in an era when kids could really roam free.
Yeah. Yeah, that is true, I suppose.
Having to warn them and say, don't touch pylons.
Was that the best they could do was wear white?
Yeah. There was another one for that well-known danger, and the advert was called Don't Overcrowd Your Car. It was about having too many people in your car.
Oh, right.
Did people just stop doing that? I don't know.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
Emma Rooney in Formby, it's in Liverpool, isn't it, I believe?
Okay.
Has a question for you.
I met Colleen Rooney the other night.
Oh, did you?
Never been to T-Bay services. Who'd have thought it?
Oh.
Oh, yes, this is when Frank talked a lot about T-Bay services and went viral.
Well, there I was asked about, me and Claire Balding did a bit of motorway services reminiscing.
Oh, yeah. Well, you, me and Omar, the tour manager, had a marvellous roast.
Well, I quoted you, and they've got handmade biltong.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you do that?
Yeah, got nothing. I'll be straight with you.
Oh.
No. It's like doing a perfect impression of your uncle. People don't know.
No, exactly. Get more famous. People might laugh at it in retrospect.
It's true.
You can't just say to people, get more famous.
It's good advice.
Anyway.
So rude. Right, Emma Rooney in Formby has been in touch. She wants your help with something, boys. Morning, Frank. You're my joke guru, so I really hope you can help me here. For years, all I can remember is the punchline to a joke, which I can only imagine is about Winnie the Pooh.
Right.
Can I give you the punchline, Frank?
Yes.
See if you can help. The punchline is, Eeyore, ought to know better. But I have no idea what the actual joke is. It's been driving me garrity. We'll get back to that.
Yeah.
For about 30 years, for the love of God, sorry, Frank, or somebody put me out of my misery, please. Well, you couldn't be in a better place. We've got 3 comedians here this morning.
Yeah.
Let's kick off with you, Frank.
Well, I remember this joke. I think she might have slightly... I believe the punchline is Eeyore, he always calls me that. And it's a difficult joke to tell in 2023 because it was a time when we were a little bit more insensitive.
Yeah, I do apologise in advance.
How bad
But
could Winnie the Pooh get?
There's a guy, it's not Winnie the Pooh, there's a guy who he's doing stuff and he says, a woman's in the shop,
stuff?
they're in a shop or something, and the bloke says, yeah, pass me that donkey. And then he says, oi, donkey, can you bring me that over? And then he says, can you close the door, donkey? And then he goes out and the woman says, that's terrible, what him calling you donkey. And the guy says, Eeyore, he always calls me that.
Oh, God.
There, I've said it.
There we go. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, dear.
Well, I hope it's cheered her up if it's been nagging at her all these years.
Well, and Jonathan Pearce, the football commentator, do you remember him, Frank?
Of course. Do I remember him? He's still around.
Oh, I do apologise,
He's
Jonathan.
very active.
But he used to say that of Tony Adams, didn't he?
He used to
was
call
called
him the donkey.
No, he'd say, Eeyore, Eeyore, he always gets those in.
Oh,
Things
did
along
he?
those
So he
lines,
was
yeah.
obviously referencing the old
Yes,
joke.
yeah.
Tony Adams was known as Donkey, and then suddenly people realised he was brilliant. I spoke to him about it.
Did you? What did
yeah.
you say?
He said he was sort of all right with it because it made him a bit more well known, the Donkey nickname.
But why was he called Donkey if he was brilliant? Did they sort of misunderstand his...
I don't think I can go into the details of why he was called Donkey.
Oh, Frank.
No, it wasn't that. He was a bit... anyway.
No wonder he couldn't run as quickly as the other players.
Yes, I just think people really appreciated him.
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Pierre Novelli. Open brackets, and Ross Noble, close brackets.
Hello.
Text the show on 8 12 15. Follow us on X and Instagram at Frank on the Radio. And email the, whatever, frank at absoluteradio.co.uk.
It's not a new app. Whatever. It's just for very non-specific things.
It ought to be, hadn't it?
You just take a photograph, like Instagram, but instead of people liking it, there's a button that says, yeah, whatever. Yeah. Can I, just before we start, I just need to clear something up, right?
Right.
Now, let me just say it before we go any further. I know your face is looking nervous, right?
No, it's fine.
You know that to me, you are on the Mount Rushmore of comedy, right? You are one of my heroes. You are the best, right?
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the bot.
I've cleared that up. Several weeks ago on this very show, and I'm not stiff with stress, right? The thing is, there was a reference to the lead singer of Wizard, right?
Yeah.
And not one, but who's the...
Roy Wood.
Do you know Roy
I know
Wood?
where this is going.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Nobody in this studio said no, but thanks for the tip.
No.
Now, I'm sorry. I know this is specific. I know that this might be me being... I'm just saying... I've got nothing but respect for you, but Roy Wood was mentioned, and that was not said.
No one said, do you know Roy Wood?
This is like,
no, but
this
thanks
is like
for the
points
tip.
of view. I think this is right. We're going to say...
So now that's out of the way, I'm just saying,
I see
just
you.
keep an eye on it. Just keep an eye on it.
We here at Absolute Radio apologise unreservedly.
Look, even Homer nods. Yeah, you're quite right. I think it's because of my love of Roy Wood. I felt it was slightly disrespectful.
Oh,
Yeah.
but no respect for Victoria Wood.
Not. Is she from Birmingham? No.
Okay.
And what
Well, there
about
you go.
poor old Vanessa May? She doesn't get that same
was
respect
one of my
either.
favourites. Well, it all stemmed from an old joke. It began from a joke that was, do you know my sister May? No, but thanks for the tip. That was the original joke. So Vanessa May's closer to the trunk than Roy Wood.
That sounds very Max Miller, that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Listen, do you know my sister May? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. You know, you talked before about the punchlines. One of my favourite punchlines too, Joe, ever, like, say, well, in that case, put it on and don't ride your bike for a week. I think that's the best punchline ever.
I think the best punchline ever. We don't need the rest of the jokes.
You don't, some of them are funny
yeah.
enough.
The best punchline ever is, if I walk that way, I wouldn't need the talcum powder.
Brilliant.
Oh, and the one-legged jockey said, don't look at me, I'm riding side saddle.
God, I'm back in the 50s. And also, you can't use talcum powder anymore, just FYI.
Is that right?
It's carcinogenic, I believe, yeah.
Is it?
I think so.
Well, look, I've got a bathroom cupboard full of it. I'm not throwing it away. You see, the talcum powder's gone now.
I think it is being phased out.
Political correctness gone mad. That's what that is.
What?
You can't even put carcinogenic powders on your kids anymore,
Yeah, or apply anything nowadays.
Come on. Hey, it's the wokerati.
That's right, yeah. You can't even fill a chicken's egg with anthrax anymore.
Yeah. No.
Stop
I heard Jim Davidson say the old PC brigade.
Brilliant.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, and was that one we go into hell in a hand cart? Yeah, I'm not pushing it if I can't use talcum powder.
The chaff.
Oh, man. You'll be able to hear the skin coming off.
Did the chaffinch? I know. Sorry, the chaffinch.
Yeah.
Was that called chaffinch because was it related to chaff? Did their wings rub? Is the chaffinch
I think possibly because when you process corn, the chaff is left behind. That it might look a little fluffy thing like that.
You know what we've done there? It's an idiotic eureka moment right
Yeah.
there. I didn't realise that the chaffinch is from the chaff.
Well, I'm guessing.
Finch.
Well, it's biblical, is it? You know these things.
I used to have. Speaking of punchlines, I used to have a chaffinch-based punchline.
Yes, and I can remember that. Yeah, was it sneezing?
Yeah, it was about middle-class sneezing.
Yes, that's
First
right.
middle-class person. My dad used to do these massive sneezes that we all had to put on waterproof clothing, no hand in front of the mouth. First middle-class person, I was talking, he went... And I couldn't believe what had happened. And as I said, I thought he'd swallowed a chaffinch, and that was the punchline.
But I believe you used to say... sorry, the fez has been waved. I believe you used to say, put sou'westers on the smaller children.
That's correct. That's absolutely well remembered.
Beautiful use of sou'wester.
That was the first comedy routine I ever did on television.
There you go.
Well, introduced by Arthur Smith as, ladies and gentlemen, Frank Spencer. And then he obviously got something in his ear and went, Skinner.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
The horror.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We are with Ross Noble. Before we recommence, Ross Noble is on tour. A 57-date tour called the Jibber Jabber Jamboree from 23rd of October to the 17th of March 2024.
There we go. Yes.
Yeah.
Coming to you all over the...
How long do you do?
It depends what mood I'm in. No, I do probably 2 hours maybe.
Oi, oi, oi.
Yeah.
Too long.
Yeah.
Is that too long for a show?
Oh,
Long
man.
show.
How
I
long do
feel
you
like
do?
I want to go on at the front of a gig and say, how low can I go, guys? Who would leave? At what point do you think that's it, money's worth? He can go now.
Really?
Oh no, they've had their money's worth after 10 minutes. I mean, it's all just no. To be honest, in theory, I'll do about 45, and I'll have an interval. I'll come back on, do maybe it's another 45, and then maybe it's a bit at the end, whether they like it or not. And then so it should really be hour and a half, hour 45, really. But,
Yeah.
But the trouble is, if they're enjoying themselves, I'll do a bit longer. And if they're not
Until they
enjoying
stop.
themselves, oh God. I've done gigs where people have got up and I've gone, whoa, what's happening here? What, are you not enjoying yourself? They're going, no, the car park closes at midnight. Yeah. Sorry about that. But
I only ask if anyone ever says, if I get any call from my management saying like they're offering you a gig, before they finish the sentence, I say, how long
Right.
did I want?
Yeah. Have you ever done those gigs where you're literally, it's in a sort of corporate, and they go, here's quite a lot of money to play a horrible room. And you literally go, exactly how many minutes is it? And at 43, you're going, I'm not going to start another thought here. And you just think, goodbye, everybody.
Well, I've always got that worry that you might not get paid, though, if you don't do the full.
Always up front.
Yeah.
Like Chuck Berry, wasn't it? Was it Chuck Berry?
yeah.
He used to get it
In cash.
Yeah, in a plastic carrier bag. Those were the days.
Yeah.
When you're doing a 2-hour show, do you have drinks on stage with you?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. I will not stand for
Stage drinking.
I will not have a stool on stage with a glass of water with it. Absolutely
I
not.
don't like it when they have a pint glass of water. Make an effort.
Yeah. Oh, you're not going to get through a pint, are you?
No.
And so
That's what I think when I see someone with a pint of beer. That's massive. What are you going to do? What are you going to do with the rest of
yeah, it's
that?
a lot of fluid.
Like the other week when you refer to them as big drinks.
That was really big drink.
Oh no! So on the big drink front, though, you know what I got recently? Oh my lord! I like a cordial, right? Because I'm not a drinking man, but I do like, and I don't like all this hydration business. It's all modern. but I do like a cordial, like a proper Robinson's cordial. And I'd have one. I think, I could do with another one. So, and my wife hates me for this. I bought a Stein, a giant German Stein
with a lid.
Yeah, not with a lid, because I thought that's going to slow down the cordial consumption if I'm constantly depressing it. I'm not having that, but it's a big glass one like that. Yeah. It's about 2 litres. And I sit down at the start of the film, I'll be there sat in the thing, and I look at me Stein, and I think, I don't have to get up for 2 hours.
You're a genius. Yeah. You're a man after my own hydrated heart.
I was at a hotel breakfast buffet this week, and they had water. And it actually said on the label, it hydrates.
Wow.
I thought, doesn't everyone know that? There are people who think, does it? What way is that news?
It's a bit pint to milk, isn't it?
Read the label and go, I've been eating all this sand.
You might as well put like a warning on it that says, warning, do not throw on a mermaid who has got her legs for a day.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Frank, our readers have some questions for Ross Noble.
Fire away.
Okay, I will.
Okay. It's all a bit Piers Morgan now, isn't it?
Mr. Noble, on the 13th of August, 2000.
Yeah. Where's my child support?
It just says, in brackets, read it in this accent.
with indignation.
Yes. And then she texts us back in, not enough indignation.
Piers Morgan used to make them cry. And now, I don't know what happens. He's got another one. He's got another show now, I think.
Is he on GB News?
He's on the GB News, yeah.
I like the GB News.
I love it, yeah.
Do you like the GB?
Well, here's the thing, right? Now, you mentioned before, not on air, but you mentioned before, I've had a bit of a trim of the old haircut, right? I haven't had a haircut for 5 years. It was getting unruly. And
stunning.
Thank you. I'm quite happy with it. It's not, I haven't gone like full buzz cut or anything. It's, it's like a, but...
I'd say you've gone exactly the same.
No, it's not, Frank.
No, but that's the thing. My hair had got down. I mean, it was very much. You would have come and seen me rock in Birmingham in the 70s. It had really got to that.
Godiva-esque.
Oh, good Lord. Yes, very much. It was it was mermaid without a bra. It got to that. It got to that length. But one of the reasons why I cut it was because I get, you know how you get the Graham Norton thing? People coming up to you, take your Graham Norton or Jasper Carrot, whatever. I get Neil Oliver from Coast.
Oh.
So, which is fine when he used to present shows about like lovely puffins sitting on cliffs and stuff. Yeah. They go, oh, yeah, we like them lighthouses you look at. And I go, oh, thank you very much. Old people in that, oh, them lighthouse shows. And I go, oh, thank you. But he's gone. He's tipped and he's on the GB News. And he's got issues. He's like, and he doesn't like... Apparently there was the COVID. That was he didn't like how that was handled. So
do you get old people coming up to you announcing, I like how angry you make me?
Exactly. Yes. I don't like them either.
Well said, you. I'm glad someone's saying it.
Exactly.
But even on those serious documentaries, used to be lots of shots of him standing cliffside with the wind blowing through his hair.
All the time, and the hair, and he always wears like a kind of a, what are those things, like a buff, those things, like a scarf.
Oh yeah.
And when you see the clips from him at GB News, he's still wearing it. You're indoors, mate. You're indoors.
No.
Yeah, but Ross, you've got to protect the brand, even on GB News.
He has a wind machine by the side of his desk at all times, and an old lighthouse keeper who just steps out like that. Just goes, you still filming? He's like, yes.
Do you think the buff thing has sort of melded to his skin? When they find people who died like 3 months before and they've become part of the mattress. Do you think that's happened to Neil?
Or it could be that he's all of that is his neck. It's his actual neck, and at any point he can elongate his whole neck. He can extend, and that goes very smooth.
Like the old bendy bosses.
Exactly.
And I like to think when he does it, even though it's a dramatic moment, there's a slight accordion noise.
You know how he developed that? It's because the lighthouse keepers at the top of they'd be in their house looking at the mirror, and he's just going, Neil doesn't want to walk up the stairs.
Yeah.
So he just go like that. Hello there. I've come to look at your puffins.
Yeah.
That's what it's
Like when they have that conversation in the law racks and the guy's in a higher window.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sorry, you were going to ask a question.
But this is Ross Noble.
Sorry,
Hold on, I'm afraid the Fez is out now. It'll have to wait.
Fez.
Busy.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Right, let's
I'm going
do
to take
this.
control here.
Okay, let's not get sidetracked. Let's answer this question.
Here are some questions from our fabulous readers for Ross Noble.
Lovely.
First up, this is from Wendy in Hawley.
Hello, Wendy.
For Ross, if you were offered the role of James Bond, would you cut your hair or play him as you are?
You know what? There's always the dilemma there, isn't it? And look, I'll be honest with you. You know, it's one of those questions I have to ask myself all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. I see my management and they went, oh, they're talking about Bond again. I go, look, I've got the tour, but I'm sure I'm in the frame for it. The question always is, like, whenever I do any acting, I do like to do, like, sometimes people say, do you want to be in this film or whatever? Do you want to do this thing? But what they want is they want you to just be yourself, you know, where you don't change your voice, you basically, you know, they carry on the film of just, you know, the Frankie Hound, it's just you with a hat on, as opposed to a character. So I like doing character stuff, right? So part of me thinks if I got offered James Bond, I would insist that I had to do it as myself, with my accent, and I basically, like, whatever the script was, I was allowed to put my own stuff and my own little spin on it. And then, you know, so that people would just be spend all the money, but not give any hint that was the case, and do all as if it was absolutely dead straight. And then literally, Hugh comes up and says, Bond, huh? All right, mate?
I would like to see a scene of Le Chiffre interrogating you and going, if we could get back to the question.
And instead of M and Q, you could have Y and I. You always met as a double act. Why?
Of course, Ant and Dec could play them, couldn't it?
Oh, yeah, perfect.
Look at that.
There'd be merch as well related to them.
Geordie Bond.
You couldn't have a long-haired Bond, though, could you?
Yeah, but he's trimmed his hair
You could
now.
have
He's
one
got-
film set on like he's been shipwrecked.
Oh, God. Shipwreck Bond. You know how they do, like...
Shipwreck Bond.
Shipwreck Bond. Well, that island, because at the end, you know, spoiler alert, but, you know, when he's on the island and the missiles come down...
Oh, yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Boom, it all blows up, and then it's like, you know, you go, oh, he's there and he left the woman and all that, and then instead the new film starts and it's him, like Yosemite Sam, you know, when Yosemite Sam, when he gets blown up, it's him just all with his hair on fire, and he goes, wow, that was close. And then he goes,
Does it go wah, 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 wah?
He does a little cough.
no one's going to come to this island after that bombing. Oh.
German Fleet has a question.
German Fleet.
The whole of the German Bismarck. Bismarck.
This is from Otto in Prussia.
Lovely.
German Fleet says...
Yes.
No, German Fleet. German Fleet
I'm going to say,
says...
does he in brackets do this in a German accent?
Does Ross still feel Geordie? That is a question from a Geordie.
Oh, there we go. Do I
German
feel?
Geordie.
I sort of feel. Well, the thing is, I'm from 8 miles north of Newcastle. Strictly speaking, I'm Northumbrian. So yes, I get very.
That's nice. I've got an image of a dry stone wall.
Oh, dry stone. Well, the sound of Catherine Tickell playing the Northumbrian pipes. So I do feel Geordie, but I think I haven't lived there for a long time, so I think I would be, because isn't it the Cockneys have to be born within the sound of the Bow Bells?
Yes.
Oh, is that right? Yeah, I was born in the sound of the Bow Bells.
Well, you're a Cockney.
Now there's a game show. Who's the Cockney?
I'd see if that'd be a very good. If Emily was on, then not many would go for that.
Oh,
That would be great.
Are you actually
Hello,
Cockney?
welcome to You Are a Cockney. with Emily's in.
Like, who do you think you are?
Yeah.
And then you'd have a selection of pearly jackets, and you just go, oh, is she gonna go for the pearl? They're just left around a room, like Taskmaster, sort of just pearly jackets around the place, but you don't know why you're in the room. You go, I'll try that.
And if there's fruit, do you eat it or sell it?
The spoons are on the side. Does she use it as cutlery, or does she use it as a musical instrumentation?
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Frank, we've got Ross Noble, friend of the show, in the studio. He's like an honorary. He's like proper hardcore friend of the show.
Honorary friend of the show, as in not really a friend of the show.
As soon as I said that, I wanted to retract
when you get an honorary doctorate from the university. I've got 2 of those.
Have you?
They mean nothing.
Did they make you go to the ceremony and put the gowns on?
Yeah, you get. In Birmingham, you got a medal, big medal.
What is it, gladiators?
Wolverhampton, you get a warm-hearted handshake.
Did you have to do because I always think that's a bit of a scam when they go, oh, I'll give you the honorary doctorate, and then you can do a bit of a gig, do a bit of a commencement speech.
Yeah, there is a bit of that.
And you just go, so what, you're just giving me a bit of a scroll, so I'll turn up and do your gig.
Free corporate.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, I hadn't thought of that.
Well,
would you like to do a corporate for this scroll?
For the scroll, which I do normally. If somebody offers me any form of parchment, I'll turn up.
I'm going to need some wax on there.
Yes.
Frank, can I ask Ross Noble about Celebrity Apprentice Australia?
Yeah.
Please do.
I don't know if
You're on your own.
What the hell were you thinking?
Well, Celebrity Apprentice Australia, I'm a big fan of the show in general.
Yeah.
And it is available on iPlayer. I watched it. You can see it, and please do.
Yeah.
Because it's quite something. Lord Sugar is involved in it.
Oh, no, that's one of the things that swung it. Oh, and that's the fact that every theatre in the world was closed, and I haven't been out of work for... Sorry, I mean the charity, that's what I did. It was... they rang me up, because I've been I've always said any comedian that goes on any form of reality TV show instantly loses all my respect. And I go, you've clearly got no self-respect. And then the pandemic happened, and I got a phone call, and they went, do you want to do Celebrity Apprentice? I went, I've always loved business. And so I went up to do it, and my plan, you guys haven't seen it, but basically what happened was that I thought to myself, right, if I was going to do a reality TV show, what's the best way of doing it? I thought, go on there and basically just get some money for charity, obviously, but why not go on there and just be as insane as you possibly can? Like, literally go on, and when you sat at home watching it and just go, oh, God, wouldn't it be funny if somebody just did that now? Well, I did that, right? And I thought, I know what'll happen here. I'll go on there. It'll be really entertaining. It'll be a right laugh for a couple of weeks, and then I'll get fired, right? But what happened was, it's not exactly, it was like Brewster's Millions. I couldn't get fired. So I was literally just going, and that was partly because...
to the final.
The only reason I didn't lose is because the woman that I was up against, she was a lovely, lovely woman, but she just made a bit more money than me, and that's the only reason I didn't win. But I was coming up with these, at one point I come up with this idea for a hamster hotel, right? They don't even have hamsters in Australia. And at one point I was selling the cursed sand of Tutankhamun, right? It was builder's sand, and I was just put it in, and I was saying that you could curse your friends and all the rest of it, and I get in the thing, and I'd made loads of money. I sold all this sand, and I'm thinking, well, Lord Sugar's just gonna go, come on, you're just taking a mick now. He came in, you made more money than anyone else. And then so it was just...
What about when Lord Sugar, in the very first episode, he said, I don't know who any of you are, the only person I've heard of is Ross Noble. So rude to the other celebrities. They looked furious.
They were absolutely furious.
Were you delighted?
Oh, God, yeah. Absolutely. And they were like, what, are you mates? Have you met him? Have you met him? Is he your mate? And I go, no, I'm from the UK. He might have seen my work on the popular television.
Did you say who? Lord Sugar?
Yes. Yeah. And I did tell them that, I can't say that on air. Okay. That's one for afterwards.
It's interesting. I wouldn't have thought of him as sort of pro-zany. Do you know what I mean?
I'm gonna step away from Zany.
Okay.
That's all a bit Timmy Mallet for my liking. I would say
You say that like it's a bad
I would say more subversive.
Okay.
No, he was just. I think you know what it was. I think that because he's a fighter, isn't he? He's one of them guys that he's built himself up, and I think he looked at me and just went, "Here's a guy who clearly just, he's having a go." You know. But it was.
He just respected the hustle.
Yeah, exactly.
You took some sand, you made money out of sand.
Yeah, exactly.
He's probably thinking, this bloke's obviously the next Bond. I best get on side. Can I repeat that Ross Noble's Jibber Jabber Jamboree Tour is on from the 23rd of October 23 to the 17th of March 2024? St Patrick's Night. That'll be a great end of tour thing. Go and see that. He's a very, very... Well, you've heard him, so you know. And thanks for listening to us. If the good Lord spares us and the creeks don't rise, we'll be back again this time next week. Now, get out.
This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.